Thank you for watching Super Sunday Kickoff. I am your host, Fidel Barraza. Alongside with me today, Walter Stringer, Kendall Whitley, Sania Blue, Isaac Durham, and SK Patrick. How you guys doing?
Great, man.
Yeah, doing great. Ready for this Super Bowl Sunday to get going.
Thank you. All right. And then, of course, Sunday Kickoff presented by Grand Lighthouse Coffee. Make sure you go to grandlighthousecoffee.com and use promo code EastWest to get 10% off your purchase. And Grand Leyenda Tequila. For more information on the best organic tequila around, go to grandleyenda.com, the official tequila of the East West Football Network. All right, guys, let's go and talk about Super Bowl 55, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Start out with Walter. What are your thoughts on the matchup today?
Yeah, personally, I think it's going to be a very competitive game. It could easily go either way. I'm going to pick the Chiefs myself, probably 33-30. I think the Chiefs are the better coach team. I think they're the more disciplined team. They don't have the better roster. I think that pretty much goes to Tampa Bay. But I just think when it comes down to it, it's too much speed for Tampa Bay to be able to handle. Tampa has big, physical, rugged corners who really have a problem with a guy like Tyreek Hill. Tyreek is built like a little fire hydrant. I tell people, he's built like a running back. He's strong as some of these other corners. He's quick as a cheetah. He's fast. There's nothing you can do, and he's strong as a bull. And if you try to jam him, he can get off the jam. And once he has one step or a half step on you, it's over. So I think they're gonna have a real big issue handling him. And if you do handle him, which I don't think they possibly can, you still have to deal with Travis Kelce. And when you have to deal with Travis Kelce, you have to say, okay, well, who are we going to put on Kelce? Because as athletic as Levante David is, Levante isn't big enough or strong enough to consistently deal with Kelce. And if you decide to put Devin White on him, who's athletic and fast enough, you completely pull him out of what you really want him to be in, which is in that box, running sideline to sideline and shutting down the run. So I think there's just too much going on with Kansas City. They're too bright. They're too smart with the play calling, and they're too disciplined really for Tampa.
Kendall.
I want to see my matchup is I want to see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line going up against this banged up Chiefs offensive line. I want to see the matchup in the trenches there. That's what I'm very looking forward to seeing. And then secondly, I want to see we know the Chiefs. I mean, the Buccaneers are not going to let the Chiefs beat them like they did last time with Tyreek Hill and Kelce. So they're going to take away Hill. They're going to take away Kelce. They're going to make the Chiefs run the ball. I want to see if McCole Harmon, Sammy Watkins, and DeMarcus Robinson can step up for the Chiefs and make some plays today.
Sonia.
So this is one of the closest matchups we've seen in a Super Bowl, I think, contenders between the two. And even if you think about like the polls right now, it's pretty much an even split. But I would say this is last time we saw these two meet, right? Tampa Bay's offensive line statistically had the worst game of its season against the pass rush, and Tom Brady struggled as a result of that. I think the Bucs are going to naturally, they're having different strategies. They're going about it a different way. However, Tyreek Hill is still Tyreek Hill. You already brought it up. Well, like he went for over 200 yards in the first quarter, the first time that the Bucs and the Chiefs met earlier this season back in Week 12. So I think right now, and with Patrick Mahomes, with Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes has a lot of options, including himself. So that's something that, as Kendall brought up, this defense is really going to have to make sure that they capitalize on. But also, Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, he's had a pretty good success rate against Tom Brady. So he knows what to do. He knows what the Chiefs defense needs to do. And the Chiefs defense has gotten better especially since like Week 12, Week 14. The offense has been pretty much consistent, but now you're combating the Bucs offense that has gotten better since prior to Week 14. Tom Brady in the first 12 games of the season, Tom Brady had 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions on 200 plus yards. Now, post Week 14, Brady has been shooting the ball lights out, has had great success in terms of 13 touchdowns for 20 plus yard passes. So this is on both ends here. You have teams who have gotten better, who have capitalized on the other teams' disadvantages. So I think this is going to be a pretty interesting breakdown between the two.
SK, let me get your thoughts on the matchup for Super Bowl 55.
I'm really interested on seeing how they're going to roll that coverage, the Bucks, compared to the other side of the ball. Because with me, I can see more man to man or I'm sorry, more man-to-man coverage when it comes to the Bucks, because I'm just looking at the Bucks. I mean, yes, they don't have a true down the field home run hitter like Tyreek Hill. I feel like they have to play more within their offense. They have to more move the ball and establish long scoring drives. Well, the Chiefs can play outside of themselves. Mahomes can do Mahomes-like things. He can break the pocket. He can throw within the pocket. He can run for first downs. He can juke you and avoid sacks and just manipulate the pocket in those ways. So I feel like they can play with outside of themselves and outside of the play, while Tom Brady more so has to play within himself. So I'm really interested to see how the Bucks defensively roll that coverage to Tyreek Hill, and if they're who's gonna be one-on-one, because somebody's gonna have the one-on-one matchups. So are they going to be able to exploit those one-on-one matchups, which I feel Mahomes will be able to exploit those matchups. And then, like I said, on the other side, I feel like you can more man up as the Chiefs defense on those receivers. I mean, you do have a big body receiver like Mike Evans who can high point the ball. Don't get me wrong, but as far as just blazing speed downfield, I feel like they can play a little bit safer, the Chiefs defense, while on the other end, especially though, with the two linemen being out for the Chiefs, that's going to be, we spoke about this yesterday, that's going to be very, very crucial, because they have, the Bucks do have a talented defensive line. So that's going to be something to see if the line can hold up. And if it can't, then Mahomes is going to have problems. But I feel like even if they can't hold up, Mahomes can get that ball out to Tyreek. Tyreek can make some plays. He got some ooh-wee in him, and he's off to the races. So it's going to be something to look out for, is that line matchup, the defensive versus the offense, and then just how they're going to roll that coverage over to Tyreek Hill, and who's going to be able to take advantage of the one-on-one matchups.
Isaac.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say, who cares about what happened in that Week 12 matchup? Because honestly, that's kind of the time that Tampa Bay turned things around. They've won 7 straight since then. And I just think there are a lot of signs pointing to Tampa Bay winning this game. I'm not saying I'm picking the Buccaneers. I'll tell you guys my pick later on. But like, there's so many signs, Brady being the most experienced Super Bowl player of all time. They have a deeper roster. They have the advantage with that stout defensive line going against that banged up offensive line, like you guys have touched on. Amazing pass rush that will disrupt Mahomes during the game, and they're playing at home. So, but I think the big matchup, Kendall talked about it, is that D-line against the banged up offensive line. But I think the Chiefs will find a way to overcome it. I just want to see how they're going to do, creating play action, because I think they're going to struggle running the ball today. I want to see if they're going to, throw more screen passes, more bubble passes, create open space for those big playmaking guys, Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman. So, yeah, that's the big matchup. And then I also want to see how Tampa Bay defends all those weapons in the secondary. It looks like Winfield Jr. is going to play today. But I'm interested to see, how, what their scheme is to go against Kansas City, because last time it obviously didn't work.
Yeah, I think in today's game, the matchup we're going to want to see is that Chiefs offensive line against that Buccaneers defensive line. I think that's going to be a key to the game. And then also a couple key notes. Tom Brady will be playing in his 10th Super Bowl, while Patrick Mahomes is going to be playing in his 2nd. Also, the last time Pat Mahomes lost in the postseason was against the New England Patriots and Tom Brady. And, of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the first team in NFL history to be hosting a Super Bowl. Now let's check in with Tania Blue with their last injury update and hopefully last COVID update.
Yes, hopefully lasts for a lot. We already know that just throughout this whole season, I've had so many updates to give you guys. Unfortunately, my list is a little shorter today. But these injury updates, first of all, are brought to you guys by Lambs of God Design. So use that promo code EastWest at lambsofgod.faith and get 10% off your order. But in terms of COVID, we already know the kind of, I don't want to say bizarre, but the interesting situation that happened with the Chiefs barber, and there were about 20 other people, including Patrick Mahomes, who were supposed to get a cut from that same barber that day. So fortunately for the Chiefs, that they were able to escape that situation in terms of COVID and protocols and things like that. Demarcus Robinson and Daniel Kilgore were placed on COVID-19 list due to high risk contact, but fortunately, I'm very glad to say that both of these teams have done a pretty good job in terms of keeping players healthy, keeping their families who they've been living in house with. They've been having to do testing every single day. So we don't have any major active roster positive cases. So that's great in terms of health. Now into these injuries. Antonio Brown, wide receiver, his knee has him questionable for this game. I don't see why they wouldn't do everything that's possibly possible to get him onto the field today, especially considering that was a huge that connection between Antonio Brown and Tom Brady is something that they both hold in terms of their personal friendship, very important, and on the field. How's that translate on the field? And for Cameron Brate, the tight end, his back, he also is marked as questionable for the Bucs. Now for the Chiefs, Sammy Watkins, wide receiver, calf injury, questionable. That one, I mean, he's naturally been an option for Patrick Mahomes throughout the season. However, Patrick Mahomes, we know, still has a lot of other options. So that's not a huge entire hit. Plus, Sammy Watkins has been in and out all season dealing with a variety of injuries. Now, Willie Gay, linebacker, he's on injury reserve with his knee injury. And Eric Fisher, the offensive tackle, an Achilles injury also has him on injury reserve. And I know we've already talked about, naturally, you have a banged up Chiefs defense or Chiefs offensive line. How are they going to go against the Bucs? I'll talk a little bit more about that in terms of thinking about underrated players. But those are your overall injury updates for right now. I'm so hoping that, nothing happens in between now and for me, 5:00. But yeah, so those are your injury updates.
Short and sweet. Thank you so much, Tania. Now let's talk to Isaac, and he will let us know what are some of the best bets available for Super Bowl 55.
Yeah, so I got a few of them here. So the first one is Leonard Fournette. His over-under is at 46.5 rushing yards for this game.
Ooh.
He has rushed for over 50 in every playoff game so far. It seems like he's kind of taken over as the primary back over Ronald Jones Jr. lately. The Chiefs have allowed 15 different running backs to top 50 yards rushing in their 18 games this season. So that one looks plausible. Also, Leonard Fournette, for most rushing yards in the game, is at plus 175. To me, you got to think if there is a top running back for this game, it's going to be on the Buccaneers side, because with all the injuries for the Chiefs, I think they're going to struggle today against that stout defensive line for Tampa Bay. And so another interesting prop bet is actually Brady over 0.5 rushing yards at plus 128. Now he's not known for running, the ball much, but it is the Super Bowl and it's only 1 yard. So at plus 128 for 1 yard. Travis Kelce receiving yards at 98.5. The overs at minus 105, the unders at minus 115. It seems like he's around 98.5 nearly every week, and he's actually surpassed the mark in 7 of his last 10 games. The next one is Patrick Mahomes to throw over 400 yards. Now, I know 400 yards is a ton of yards, but you got to keep in mind that offensive line is going to struggle, like we've already talked about. They're not going to run the ball a ton. Plus 400 yards from Mahomes at plus 390 odds right now. And in their Week 12 matchup, he threw for 462. So he could definitely get it done today. His completion total over-under is at 28.5. It's at plus 100 odds. I touched on it a little bit earlier. I expect a lot of, quick passes, bubble screens, screens to his running backs, get it going with the lack of running game today. And, Andy Reid is known for throwing a lot of screenplays. So those completions add up. And then my last one is Brady and Mahomes to combine for over 650.5 passing yards. It is boosted on DraftKings to plus 125 for today's game. They combined for 807 in Week 12. And so, yeah, those are just some of the player props to keep in mind for today's game.
I like that Tom Brady rushing total. I like the over on that.
Yeah, just 1 yard. Just
Just
1
1
yard.
yard. Get him close to the goal line,
Yeah.
and he'll rush it in.
He's the best QB sneaking quarterback ever. I'll give him that.
Hey, SK, really quick, I did want to talk to you about you were in the media sessions for Super Bowl 55, and I believe you said you talked to Tyler Johnson. We had an interesting conversation last night about that. I just was wondering if you can bring that up.
Yeah, I talked to Tyler Johnson this week. Just asked him about his game preparation compared to the regular season, the other playoff games, saying that it's a Super Bowl. It's not a regular Super Bowl, so of course, he says it's basically like a regular season game. It's like a regular season home game, even though it may be a mixture of different type of fans and protocols. But the question that was brought up more so was his former position at being a quarterback. So when we get into some other things later in the show, that's going to be something to watch out for. Is Tyler Johnson, his old quarterback skills, and if something might be up in the works. So just be on the lookout for that a little later and during the game.
And the reason why I bring that up is because I was wondering, Isaac, if you saw a prop that showed that Tyler Johnson throwing a pass in the game.
I did not, but there's always a prop bet saying that if more than 2 quarterbacks make a completion. So if it's it'll be a 2.5. So if there's 3 guys that make a completion, that'll be on there. I don't know exactly what the odds are, but I'm sure it's kind of high.
Yeah, it should be. Like I said, they was talking about his quarterback play, and it was just a lot of questions about his old quarterback play. So that just gives me. We brought it up in the show when Hines Ward and Antoine Randall got that touchdown pass against the Seahawks. Just trick plays, and it's always that underrated player that makes a play that can turn the game that you wasn't even thinking about. So, because I even forgot about Tyler Johnson's quarterback days. So that's just something that's going to be something to look out for today.
And then even for the Chiefs, they still have Blake Bell. He played quarterback for Oklahoma in college too. And that you bringing that up just made me think of the Philly special with Trey Burton throwing to Foles. So you never know. It's the Super Bowl. So
Yep. All right, Isaac. Thank you for the information. Now let's talk about one under the radar player that will have an impact on today's Super Bowl. Let's start out with Walter.
Yeah, I'm going to say McCole Hardman. And I'm going to say McCole Hardman for a couple of reasons. For one, the Chiefs have the 2 fastest players on the field today, period. And he and Tyreek Hill. And it's very, very easy for defenses to get overly caught up in where's Tyreek? Where's Tyreek? Where is he at pre-snap? Where's Tyreek post-snap? Where is he at in the box? Where is he at? Has he reached in the 3rd level yet? And it's easy to get caught up in that. And next thing you know, you got another guy who runs 4-2, running a deep out, deep post, comebacks, and he's open. Also, Kansas City has been pretty terrible on special teams this season as far as covering kicks. So look at the amount of yards Tampa has given up kick return-wise this year. That's pretty much what Kansas City does well. So I think there's a chance McCole Hardman could have a huge day offensively and on special teams.
Kendall.
I'm gonna go Byron Pringle from the Chiefs. I think he's gonna have a pretty good return this game. I think he's a punt return, a kick return sometime. And he comes in sometime. The Chiefs got like 5 wide receivers they can throw the ball to. I think he's gonna make a couple big plays this game. It's gonna be somebody you least expect, and hey, we'll see how it goes from there.
SK.
Yeah, we had already brought up Tyler Johnson, but I want to make a correction to something I said earlier. I said Tampa Bay doesn't really have a lot of speed to break a defense, but they do have Scotty Miller. So I'm going to go with Scotty. I'm going to go with Scott. Antonio's getting up there. I don't know.
He's still fast.
Let's just say this. I haven't seen enough this year. He's been in and out, COVID, injuries. I haven't seen enough. Let's just put it like that. He could be underrated. Actually, he could be an underrated player this year. I mean, in this game. I'll give you that. But I'm going to go with Scotty Miller to be able to blow the top off of the defense, maybe make one huge play that can turn things around. So with me, my pick is Scotty Miller.
Sania.
I'm going to say Shaquille Barrett. He had a great game against the Green Bay Packers when David Bakhtiari was out, when they were down tackles and down to backups. KC is also in that position. I know Eric Fisher. So now Mahomes is a different type of quarterback. is a more athletic quarterback than the current state of Aaron Rodgers right now. But I'm going to say that he will have an impact in this game.
Hey, real quick, shout out to Coach Hugh Jackson. Look at my people. Love you all. Scotty, I want to be as fast as the cheetah. Hey, we might see that during halftime. We don't know yet, right? Thanks,
Yeah.
Coach. All right. Isaac.
Yeah, so when we watch the Super Bowl every year, it seems like there's one unknown guy who makes a name for himself. A guy that comes to mind was when the Seahawks played the Patriots, and Chris Matthews. We didn't really know who that was, that wide receiver that led Seattle in receiving in that game. But my player, I wouldn't say he's unknown, but he is a rookie who I think has been underrated all season. And he's the rookie cornerback for the Chiefs, and L'Jarius Sneed. He's a guy that kind of drops back in coverage, but he's also used to go after the quarterback a lot. He recorded 41 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, and 3 interceptions in the regular season. I don't think a lot of people have been talking about him. And, the Chiefs are known to send secondary blitzes throughout the game. So he just passed the concussion protocol to play in today's game, and I expect him to have a big game for that Chiefs defense.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tyler Johnson, wide receiver of Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he's going to make some crucial catches in today's game, and that might be the difference in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl. All right, let's talk about our game picks presented by Thrive Fantasy. Make sure you use promo code EastWest when you sign up, and you'll receive an instant deposit match up to $50 in your first deposit of at least $20. Download Thrive Fantasy from the App Store, Google Play Store, or by visiting their website, thrivefantasy.com. All right, Walter, who do you got today?
I touched on it earlier. I'm going to say Chiefs 33-30.
Kendall.
I'm
going Patriots Tampa Bay 34-31.
Oh, man.
Hey, that was funny. All right. SK. Oh.
22 for 40. Barely 50%. Let's see. In the game against Green Bay, he had 3 interceptions. In the game against the Saints, he was subpar with 18 to 33. I'm not confident in Brady. I'm going Chiefs 31-27.
Sonia. Oh, let's see. Hold on real quick. There we go.
Unmuting. Goodness gracious. He also SK took my game prediction. I'm going to go Chiefs 31.
We there.
We literally here, because when you said that, I was like, wow.
Since college football season, we there.
Just in the huddle with Hayden.
Isaac.
Yeah, so I have been thinking about this all week. I didn't even know who I was going to pick until like 30 minutes ago. This game just looks like it's going to be a great game, a close game. Like I said earlier, there are a lot of signs pointing to Tampa Bay winning this game. I think they definitely could win this game, but I'm picking the Chiefs 27-24. I don't feel great about it, but I think I would feel worse picking against the Chiefs.
And I'm going to go Buccaneers 37, Chiefs 29. That defensive line is going to win the Super Bowl for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, guys.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sorry. Thank you for correcting me.
Did you see that somebody was trying to put some legislation in that if they win, they're going to rename the city Tampa Bay? Please stop.
That's insane.
Please go do some police reform or something. That is not what we need. Please stop. Please. I was dumbfounded when I heard that. Really? That's what we talking about? Tampa to Tampa? Please sit down.
That's crazy. All right. Hey, does anybody want to make any bold predictions for today's game? The floor is yours.
The game in itself is too bold to feel comfortable making a bold prediction.
Hey,
I don't even know this is.
I got one.
Okay.
Carlton Davis gets 2 interceptions.
That's bold.
Tom Brady throws for less than 200 yards.
Tyler Johnson scores 2 touchdowns.
No, we just throwing him. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking when he played the Saints, he only had 199 yards, and they still won the game somehow. Can y'all not beat this man?
So I was gonna say Mahomes throws 60 passes.
Ooh.
So he must be trailing in the game.
It's gonna be a close game. They're gonna just disregard the running game too, because it's
they
not
throw
gonna work.
they throw like 45 passes a game, so that'd be a little. So it's not
15 more is a lot.
Right.
It's bold.
All right. Hey, before we end today's show. Oh, go ahead, Walt.
Oh, one quick thing. I want to talk about what do you guys think about Bruce Arians? You know, considering the fact that this is his first Super Bowl as a head coach. He's won 2. He won 2 with Pittsburgh, but this is his first Super Bowl as a head coach. If he loses this game, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee anybody ever goes back. There's no guarantee Tampa will be back next season. How much pressure is on him because he has what? He has a career winning percentage of 61%, and that's what second highest, I think, to Sean McVay as far as active head coaches without a Super Bowl ring. So, is there a lot of pressure on him to get it done? Because he's known to not stick around that much. You know, Bruce will stick around for a few years, get bored, want to go golf, have a few beers, and go do him. So I don't even really expect Bruce really to be around too much longer. So if they lose this game, is there a possibility he could walk away, or they could give it one more try next year? And if that doesn't work, he could walk away.
Well, I mean, it's possible. He's had some health issues as well, and I think Brian Leftwich is actually going to be next in line to be the head coach of the Bucs. So, I mean, nothing's out of the question, even if they win or lose. If they win, I think he might leave, but who knows?
I feel like there's pressure on him. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's you have Brady. It's win championship or bust for Brady. So when you have somebody like that who's all about championships, then it's always going to be pressure on you for him to succeed to get that championship, especially because he wants to get one without Bill Belichick. And Andy got that monkey off his back as far as Super Bowls and everything. So I feel like he doesn't really necessarily have a lot of pressure. If anybody has pressure, it's probably Patrick Mahomes, because everybody is anointing him as the next GOAT. So if anybody has some pressure on the Chiefs, it would be Patrick. But I feel like Bruce does have some pressure because a lot of people may blame Bruce if Brady doesn't come out. They might blame Bruce for the game plan or the coaching staff for the game plan, something along those lines. So I feel like there's pressure on Bruce definitely to win. And of course, you want to get that Super Bowl on your belt, and he's forging his way possibly to trying to establish himself as one of the better coaches. And with his success with the Steelers, possibly even HOF consideration, maybe be a long shot. But if you have some more sustained success on top of a Super Bowl, then you never know down the line.
Yeah, especially if he makes like a dumb call though at the end of the game, like we saw in that Packers Buccaneers game. I could see him just getting pushed out right away. Because like you guys said, it's Super Bowl or bust at this point.
All right, guys. Before we end this live stream, I do want to talk about some NFL news. So last night, multiple reports came out that Carson Wentz will be on his way to Chicago for a first-round pick and Nick Foles in a condition, I want to say, third-round pick.
So, Nia, how do you feel about that?
Let's start with the Bears fans real quick. Let's start out with Sania. Ladies first. Let me get your thoughts on that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I said this in our group chat yesterday, and I wholeheartedly mean this when I say like there's just some disconnect between the Chicago Bears and like the concept of success. And not to say that Carson Wentz, naturally, he has a career that's more behind him than in front of him. And I think right now the Bears have an opportunity to make a smarter decision, to have a better chance. Because, I mean, you still got Nick Foles on the roster. So what, you pick it between Nick Foles and Carson Wentz right now? I mean, Is that what we really want to do? And then we're possibly going to lose Allen Robinson because he doesn't want to stay in Chicago anymore. Is that what we're going to do? And then we have all these amazing, like, younger talent in Cole Kmet. You got Darnell Mooney. You got all these other offensive weapons, right? Is this what we want to do? This is what we want to do.
That's what y'all want to do.
You know what? But it's not uncharacteristic for my Bears, unfortunately, at all by any means. And I'm sure Isaac can get more into that, and will. It's just frustrating. Clearly, you guys see it's been a rough year. It's been a rough few years just with
y'all
the Bears organization. We made the playoffs.
We backed in. We backed into the playoffs.
Literally, I was just about to say we didn't.
What is it about?
Participation
and then possibly having a run. Ain't that at the end of the? Ain't that? I mean, you want to win your division, but at the end of the day, it's about making the playoffs, right?
Get in the tournament. Yep.
Get in the tournament and roll the dice. But I mean, I don't think any of y'all quarterbacks can take y'all to that next level. But I'm looking at it as I don't think Wentz is gonna be able to take y'all to that next level. He might be able to take y'all to the playoffs just like now. So it's like you really just canceling one thing out just for the other, just for a bigger name, some more name recognition, maybe some buzz around there. But I feel like y'all can go 8-8, 9-7, and back into the. No, I shouldn't say back in and make the playoffs just like this year.
It's a better option than Mitch.
When you look at it, can the Bears offensive line protect him any more than what the Eagles did this year? I mean, he got hurt a couple times with the Eagles.
The best scenario for him would be going to the Colts because he could succeed there with that line.
Yes,
we don't have the offensive line to help him. He's going to be the same player.
But I think the thing with the Colts was the contract, and then also them not wanting to send a first-round draft pick over to the Eagles. I think that was the deal breaker for the Colts. Let me get your thoughts on the whole Wentz to Chicago possible deal.
Oh, all right, man. All right, listen. This is what I really think of the Bears. I think the Bears are really stale right now. And they're kind of like in this purgatory where we're good enough to be 8-8, but we're not bad enough to be 5-11. Mm-hmm. And even if we go get some average quarterback, that average quarterback isn't going to be enough to get this team and get this defense over the hump. Because if you look at the Bears defense, personally, I believe you get a good 3 years with an elite defense to make something happen. After those 3 years, depending on how you drafted within those first 3 years of the team, the defense being elite, you may have been able to keep that defense top 5 in the league for maybe a couple extra 2 years. If you don't win anything with an elite defense within 3 years, chances are you're never going to win anything with it. And when it comes down to it, you look at the Khalil Mack trade now in hindsight. Was the Khalil Mack trade really worth it for them? Because if you look at what they gave up and what they could have had completely now as a complete football team, and Mack has regressed. I don't know why. When you look at Khalil Mack, if you look at a player, his size, his athletic ability, his temperament, his anger, why isn't Khalil Mack more productive? Now, I understand maybe Isaac and Sania, you guys know way better than I do. But it just seems to me that things in Chicago are too stale right now. Offensively, they're stale. Defensively, they're stale. The play calling is stale. The fan base is never happy. I know people in Chicago that are just not happy with that team right now.
We got two of them here.
There's nothing worse than being stuck in purgatory. Nobody wants to be stuck in purgatory.
It's cold up there too.
And it's cold. It's in negative degrees today.
Walt, they mad about everything.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just weird, man. It's like Chicago. Chicago is like that ugly person that doesn't know they're ugly. Now, I'm not talking about the city, but I'm talking about the team. I'm talking about the team, not the city.
Hey, don't hold back, Walter.
The team still thinks, know what, we're fine. We'll just put this Carson Wentz makeup on, and we'll put on. Maybe we'll go out, we'll draft someone, and we'll put this deodorant on, and everything will be fine. But in all actuality, they're still pretty ugly.
It's
so
bigger than just on the field. It's big. It's so much bigger than that. It goes up to GMs. It goes up to owners. It's a bigger.
Yeah. Well, but I think
yeah.
what this move says is that Pace and Nagy, they're on the hot seat. If something doesn't good happen this year, this next coming up season, like making at least a divisional round in the playoffs, they're both gone. So
Yeah.
think about it. Think about the position the new general manager and the new head coach are going to be in the year after that, with Carson Wentz's contract and with the draft pick.
They'll trade Wentz.
Why?
After the year's over, they'll just trade Wentz. The Bears have a curse at quarterback. They cannot get over the hump. They can't find the right guys to get a good quarterback in that room. It is so frustrating being a Bears fan.
Yeah,
and while you're talking about it, the defense has regressed. I don't think they're a top 10 defense right now anymore. We saw it at the second half of this year. Khalil Mack's not as productive because they can't find someone opposite of him to do a damn thing. So he's getting double teamed, triple teamed every play, and he's getting frustrated. He's mentally not doing good, and he's physically just getting beat up by multiple players. Yeah, he'll have one of those games like against Tampa Bay where he dominated, but you can't do that every game. He's not as gifted as Aaron Donald is. Okay, he's fast, he's strong, but Robert Quinn on the other side, he had 2 sacks this year. You can't have that. I mean, they're just going to totally disregard the other side. As far as quarterback, this is dumb. I'm not surprised. Fidel, you're talking about it. Their jobs are on the line. They need to do something. It's probably going to happen, and we're going to have another 8-8, 9-7 year, and back into the playoffs, maybe. SK
and lose the first game.
I'm sure the Raiders don't mind Khalil Mack struggling with the Bears right now.
Hey, I'll take Khalil Mack back in Vegas too.
I mean, we'll take we'll take him back though.
I'm taking right back.
But you know what? So honestly, Isaac, one problem is. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, players are frustrated. The players themselves are frustrated with this system, therefore leading to the lack of production. Also, Khalil Mack has had a variety of injuries that he's had to overcome. But why? If we really want to think about it, some of those injuries are due to him having to carry so much of this defense, but also it's not worth it. He's doing all this work, but it's not worth it. It's not paying off on the offensive side of the ball. Another player who we brought up already who is frustrated, Allen Robinson. You have talent.
He's gone.
Yeah, you have talent there, and they've continued to waste talent. It's almost been like I'm not making a streamlined comparison, but a very general comparison in terms of like the Texans and how they waste talent. Like the Bears have continued to do that, but also you don't have a dynamic play caller. You don't have a dynamic head coach and Nagy and the GM. Like you don't have a system that is willing to take the optimum chances to therefore make the Bears organization better in the short and the long term run. And so with this choice to even go, you really think that Carson Wentz is the best decision to make to keep your job? Like that's also a question in the back of my head.
Well, you know
I was going to ask you.
I'm
asking Alan. Go ahead, Walt.
No, you don't want to be in the position the Lions were in last offseason, the stupid position of pretty much you have a lame duck head coach and a lame duck GM. If they don't get it together next season, I'm a can them. Well, if you have it already made up in your mind that if they're not successful next season, midway through next season, you're going to get rid of them, why would you allow them the prior offseason to make potential franchise-changing decisions? So what is the point in trading for Carson Wentz and destroying everything if you're going to just turn around and fire these same 2 people in another 8 months? That's really what I don't understand, because if you look at what the Lions did this last draft, instead of taking the quarterback number 1, the forwards allowed Bob Quinn to tell them that we're just a player away. So you allowed this idiot to pass on Justin Herbert and Tua to take a corner at number 3 because he told you that Jeff Okudah was the missing piece, was going to be the missing piece. You don't want to allow a lame duck GM to make stupid decisions months before you fire him. So the Bears, they're in a real scary situation. This Wentz situation could really hurt them. I hope for you guys, I hope they don't.
Well, and we have no salary right now. So to bring on that contract, we're not going to get any big free agents. We're not going to be able to do anything. We're barely going to be able to sign our rookies to rookie deals. Like we just have no money right now. It doesn't make any sense.
All right. Well, hey, let's end the
But,
show on a happier
one
note.
more-
Go ahead, SK.
one
You
more-
got-
One
Go
more
ahead.
thing, please purchase a copy of my book. It's a book that teaches kids the basics of spending and counting money. You can download the digital copy on Amazon, or you can text East West to 502-216-8508 and receive 15% off of your order. So please go do that. Chris's Candy Store Adventure. Okay, I'm
That's
done.
awesome.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
SK. I actually read the book to my daughter a couple nights ago, and she enjoyed it. So, thank you for the
My
book.
friend
Also-
said he read the book to his daughter, and all she's been talking about the last week is money. I said, yeah, you gotta give that up, buddy.
Also,
Yeah.
if he wants to, tweet me like positive and encouraging messages as a Bears fan, I'd greatly appreciate it. I just want to throw that out.
I think we're gonna set up a hotline for you and Isaac, so you guys
Yeah.
can phone in for some positive feedback. But look, I think this Wentz thing it can be good as well. It's not it can't be all bad. It can't be worse than Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles. It really
You think?
can't. No, there's
Do
no
they
way.
even want to
It could
like?
Never
be
say
if
never.
we were below 500, it'd be worse.
Yeah.
Hey, Isaac, we just hope Wentz doesn't have a hold my beer moment when he gets to town.
Well, hey, look, and then the other thing too. I mean, there were multiple reports saying he wasn't a good teammate anymore. That he wasn't good in the locker room. So I mean, hopefully that's not the case in Chicago, but we'll see.
Hey, for him though, he might be a little happier because there's a lot more hunting over in the Chicago, Illinois area,
Yeah,
and he's big. He's big in the woods, man.
yeah.
Well, at least
All right,
I mean,
but
at least with in Chicago, he doesn't have to look over his back. Foles won a Super Bowl. Y'all put a shrine up for him. It's like, damn. Well, how do I feel about that? Then a couple years later, y'all pick a quarterback in the second round. Usually, first, second, and third rounders are groomed to start in the next year or two. And how am I going to feel about that? I mean, you're in the NFL, you can't let those type of things, get at you. But at the same time, just being a human being and the psyche of a human being, that is something that can, always,
yeah.
back and forth over my back. It's breathing down my back. I don't know if I even feel confident because y'all don't feel confident in me. But that's neither here or there.
And hopefully it doesn't happen to him in Chicago. But let's go to end the show on a happy note. So today is our final show for Sunday Kickoff. Just want to give you guys, just want to say thank you for being available every weekend. And it's been a grind, a lot of hard work behind the scenes. I just want to say thank you to everyone. And I'll start with Walter. Any final thoughts on our show before we end it?
Just that I appreciate you guys a lot. I learned a lot from you guys throughout the season. Everybody else who made appearances on here, you guys taught me a lot, turned me on to a lot of things. Hopefully, some things I said taught you guys some things, turned you on to some things, and I enjoyed every Sunday of it.
Kendall.
Yes, it's been great working with everybody. Football doesn't end for us. We still got the off season. We got a whole lot of things planned, and a lot of people we got so many things planned on in the coming weeks. Just stay tuned.
SK.
Yeah, it's been a great year. COVID withstanding, it's been great. Talking to you guys every chance I can come on. Like Kendall said, off-season draft free agency. It doesn't stop. It may just stop on Sundays, but it doesn't stop Monday through Saturday. So it's still gonna be some work to do. Go get a copy, and I've just been a pleasure for y'all to have me on.
Sonia.
Yeah, it's been awesome working with you guys, working with this team. Walt, I've definitely learned things from you. Professor Walt is kind of what I call you to myself. I haven't told you that, but that's what I do. And yeah, it's just been amazing. You guys have made me want to be a better journalist. So I thoroughly appreciate you guys just for that alone.
Isaac.
Yeah, you guys have said it all. It's been a lot of fun. I always enjoy looking forward to being on this show every week. And even in the fantasy show during the fantasy season, But as Kendall said, the grind doesn't stop. We're going to still be working hard. And if you guys are basketball fans, we also have the East West Basketball Show on Saturdays now. We've changed it. So, tune into that too. You'll still see some of our faces on there.
Yeah, football never ends. So make sure you're following all our social media handles to find out what's next for East West football. We have a lot of different things coming up. We have a draft show that I believe is on Tuesdays and Thursdays with Walter Stringer and Jerry Martinez and Ned Lennon. So make sure you guys check that out. And then also, of course, Full Court Press, East West Basketball Network. That's going to be on Saturdays moving forward at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, if I have that time correct.
Yeah. Also, we will start back doing Friday Night Football Talk in March. So we're going to take a few weeks off from there. We'll start back in March with that. We're going to have some big-time guests coming
Hey, Fidel, I got a special guest again.
You do?
Fidel. Yeah, I got a special.
Yes.
He said he wants to be back up.
There we go.
I got a
Roscoe.
Roscoe, I got a special. He says KC 31, Buccaneers 27.
All right, we'll see if Roscoe gets it correct.
What's that? Tom Brady is not the GOAT? I know.
All right.
He should have been in the bold predictions comment section.
He could have. Hey, next year, bring him on more often.
Yeah.
All right. With that being said, thank you everyone for watching out there all season long. Special thanks to Coach Hugh Jackson for being a part of the East West football family. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next year with a bigger and better pregame show. And enjoy Super Bowl 55. Stay safe.
Bye, guys.